Good morning. Please welcome back to our starter session. After having a gap for 3 weeks, finally we have resumed. And as you can recall, I hope we did cover up to, it was in day 6 somehow. Stata day 7. We covered up to day 7 where we did data documentation and we saw the different use of dealing with labels, from labeling data and the labeling variable name. And the major part was how to label and manage value labels for categorical data. So I've seen different functions like label data. First one, I think, label data here, label data, then label variable. Then after that, we see several versions of value labels. About this, you can recall our previous video, which is Stata Data Documentation. And today is going to be our day 8 for the session. Day 08, which is about Stata Data Format. Stata Data Format. Stata Data Format. And today is 22nd of August 2026. So today we're going to focus on data format. But prior to that, when we are doing data documentation, we were done with the labels, but we had one last part which was dealing with notes, commands. So today I will finalize with this concept of notes before I dive deeper about data format. So what is this notes and what is its difference from label? So we say notes is a command to store textual notes directly inside the dataset. It's a documentation tool that allow you to attach internal human readable sticky notes to your data. And the notes are saved within the DTA file, which means it's data file. Anyone who opens the dataset can read them. So Stata supports two kinds of notes. There is notes for entire dataset notes, just like we have label for entire data and you have notes for specific variables. The things you can do with notes, you can capture the information like where data came from. You can put that in notes. You can also put the information who modified the data. You can capture the names, for example, and the contact so that whoever opens that data can reach that person. You can make data cleaning decision, like if anonymously that you have reached a certain agreement which was not there during data collection, you can capture them in notes. Assumption made during data processing, variable specific explanation, long explanation, warning about data quality. If you are worried about something anywhere, you can capture that in notes. A reminder for future user, maybe if there is something which is need to be taken care of as well. I have just listed here 7, but we may have more than this. We may have more than these reasons for you to keep using notes. Now, number 1, how should we create or attach notes? But before that, how can we realize that if our data contain notes or not? You can recall this data notes, data documentation. Let me open this example data. So yes, use auto tool, clear. If I open this, and then let me type this command here, describe. What describe will do, you can recall this. I said when we were learning about data labels, this thing here, 1978 automobile data, this is what we have captured, or it has been captured by using data label. And about this one, this is timestamp. This is timestamp, which will be recorded automatically each time you save this data. But what I was referring to, it is this one. What is this? This is an indication that this data contain notes. You'll find this. And how now can we see the notes contained within this data? This is what we are going to learn from now onwards. So number 1, how do we create notes? How do we create notes? You'll use the command called notes, then full colon, then you put your text. But before that, let me show you how you can review and viewing notes. Here, since this data contain notes, say here review or view notes. Just write command notes. Since this data contain notes, so you'll see it here, _DTA. When you see _DTA, it means that is notes for the data set and not for a particular variable. So like in this case, you'll see _DTA. We have 2 notes. Number 1, it says from consumer reports with permission. Number 2, same as auto, except repair value label is added to rep 78. So these are details which are attached to this data. So here, let me go back now and see how we can build or we can create these notes. So here we start with the syntax, how to attach notes to dataset. Attaching notes dataset. Number 1, attaching notes to dataset. What you do, you put your notes command, full colon operator, then you put the quotes. After you put the quotes, then you put your notes. Like here, say this data contain automobile information. I'll copy this too. Sorry, I said something about putting quotes. but it is just text, not quotes. You don't need to put any quotes. Just put notes, then full colon, then you put your notes. So simply, this notes has been added to this data. So once more, if you review or view notes, you'll see that now we have 4 different notes. 2 which came with data, and the other 2 which you have recently added. Pay attention to the numbers 1, 2, 3 onwards. Okay? So each time you add new notes, it will carry out automatically, it will use the next subsequent number or value. So this is simply how you can add notes to data set. Add notes to entire data. Here, attach notes to entire data. The second thing is attaching notes to specific variable. To specific variable or variables. How can you do that? It is the same thing, only that now you add, you put a variable name after notes and before full colon. The same thing that you put a variable name after notes command, but before full colon. Just like the way we moved from label data to label variable. So here we are. This is it. So once more, if you print notes, you'll see everything now. You'll see notes for entire data. Notes for entire data, note that are captured by using underscore DTA, but notes for specific a variable you see here, price, it has got 1 note. The price of car models in USD, rep 78, 5 missing value due to lack of information. And you can add these notes as you wish. So if I do have some other notes, maybe for price, I just do the same thing. We say notes, price, and then you say the variable maybe is formatted with thousands, comma separator. You can put anything. So you do this. So once again, when you just print notes, you'll see now for price, you have 2 notes. Yeah? So each time you keep adding notes, it will just check if there is another note present, and then it will add the second one, a third one. You can keep any number you want. So that is documentation which is not directly within dataset. You cannot, unlike labels where you can see everything by using browse or go to Windows. But for the case of notes, you cannot see it anywhere from all windows which were discussed earlier. But rather, you have to call them for you to see them through results window by using notes command. So number 1, this is how you add or you attach notes to your data. Number 2 is how to review and viewing notes. Reviewing and view notes. Here specifically, we have three things. Reviewing and view notes. View, number one is view all notes. You want to see all notes. Simply, this is how to have practiced. You just need to type notes. And you'll see everything from here. Notes for entire data, notes for specific variables. And that is number one. Number two is notes for entire data set only. You don't need to see variables here. So you write notes and then you put underscore DTA. You remember this one. It means now you will not see the notes for specific variables. Only notes for data set will be captured here. But notes for specific variable, notes for specific variable, for example, like if I want to see notes for price only, just need to put in notes, then variable name, and notes variable name. So Stata will bring only notes for that particular variable. And like that, you can put a name of any other variable. Like, let me put in notes MPG. It will tell you if the variable do not have notes, it will just be silent, because not every variable will have notes. So like this, you can view notes for any variable. And it receive var list. So if you have more than one variable, for example, I know that I want to see the notes for price and rep 78 altogether. You can pass in a var list here. The R will return those two variables. So you don't need two separate commands for you to see notes of specific variables. So you can just pass in a var list. And what else? We say we can use notes search to locate a specific notes based on a specific keyword. Maybe I don't remember specific about a certain notes. So you can also search for notes. And search notes. Another thing which you can use to view this is search notes. And you can use this keyword, which is notes search. You must start with notes. Notes, then search. And then you put your case. Maybe let me put USD. It will happen. It will go through the entire notes documentation and it will return each notes with this keyword. Like in this case, the notes has been found through price variable. Notes has been found through price variable. So like that also, you can use the search. Once the notes is found, Stata will display that particular note. So this is the case of how you can view the existing notes. The other component, important one, is how we can delete notes. As long as we can create, we can also remove it. And deleting starter notes. How can we delete them? Like I may say, if I put these notes, maybe I am no longer in need with this notes number 3 here for DTA. Can I remove it? Yes. So you will use your command notes drop, and you will pass a specific name. If it is for entire data set, you should pass underscore DTA. But if it is a specific variable, you pass that variable name. Later on, we'll see how we can drop all notes. I'll come back to this. So here, for example, if I want to delete these notes here, I should come here and say notes drop, and then underscore DTA. Drop notes for data set. And then once you put that one, you should use this in command to specify position. So in 3, here drop third notes, for example. If I run here now, you will find that you don't have notes 3 here. It is 1, 2, 4 because the third one has been removed. For price, for example, let me drop the first one. This one, drop notes for specific variable. Drop notes for specific variable. So here the style is the same. Instead of putting underscore DTA name, now you put a variable specific name. Okay? Drop first notes for price variable. So if I come here and say notes price, you'll see that we have only second note. The first one is gone. If you want to remove everything, you want to drop all notes. To drop all notes, you should use notes drop underscore all. But this one I will not execute it now because there is another lesson here which requires the existing manipulation first. So I'll come back to execute this at the end. Another thing is editing and renumbering notes. How can I edit notes? To edit notes, use replace keyword after notes followed with name and indexed of notes. This is very important. To edit notes, editing notes here 5. Before this, let me say renumbering. Then I'll come back to editing. Renumbering notes. Why renumbering notes is very important? You can recall this, draw notes. Once you have dropped some of the notes, you'll find that there is a gap in the sequence, 1, 2, 4, or 2. So if you do share this to someone else, may be confused. Somehow there is a note which is missing here, while indeed you have recorrected them and nothing is missing. So you need to put your number back in sequence form. And how you can do that, you say, just use a notes renumber and then a particular name. If it is for entire data set, it is for entire data set. Renumber entire data notes. Like here, renumber entire data notes. So you say here notes renumber underscore DTA. And then I'll come back here and say notes underscore DTA. So after renumber, you will see this. Now it is 1, 2, 3. It is no longer 1, 2, 4. So this last one now is captured as a third note. You do the same for variable. So notes renumber for specific, renumber notes, number notes for specific variable. For specific variable. So here, you remember the case of price. If I do this, notes renumber, you see here it is 2. Once I do renumber, it will start with 1. So now you see this. And the last thing about notes, now it is editing. Editing existing notes. How should we edit? Number one, let me use notes to see the existing notes. Here, for example, these notes say variable formatted with thousands comma separator. Let me say I just want to put comma separator. Variable is formatted with comma separator to correct that one. So you come here, if you just put it in this form, you put in notes and then price. This one for price, because once you know, you can even do for data set. Price. And you put here, I want to modify this. Variable is formatted with a comma separator, for example. If you just run this, what will happen? It will overwrite the previous one. And now if I say notes price, it will not overwrite, but it will be added as a second note. So it's not like you have modified the previous one, but simply you have added the second note. So the intention was to modify the existing note. So to do so, you must use the command replace, and then you specify the note. Notes replace, like in this case, you say here notes replace, price in what? In 1. Now, if I run this, you'll find that the first one is modified. Instead of adding another note, simply have modified the existing note. That is very, very important. If you want to do that for data, instead of variable name, then you should put underscore DTA for data. that last thing which I have skipped earlier is what if I want to drop all notes? So if you want to remove all notes, you use notes drop all. So this time, if you just run notes, you'll find that there is no any notes within this data. So this is all about notes. It is added on starter documentation. It was supposed to be covered on the previous session, but it took much time. We went beyond 2 hours. And now I have just superseded this one for today's session. If you have a question about the notes, please raise it before now I switch it to data format, which is today's session. If you have a question, any of you, about the notes. So if no, allow me to go to data format now. So that is notes. You'll find it as part of you'll find this as part of data documentation alongside with labels. Alongside with labels, Stata Data documentation, so it is here. So to move to today's session, today's session is about data format. Data format. And still we are doing data organization. We are yet to start data manipulation. All these documentation which will help you to understand the existing data. Now, data format is done by using command format. It is one command. It is just one command, but it has so many applications. So many applications. So for the rest of the time, we're just going to deal with this case of data format. So the format command control how data values are displayed without altering the underlying or without altering the underlying storage. This one should be removed. Without altering underlying storage in memory. And specifically, we have formats for 3 different cases. Number one, you should recall the data types. Always in Stata, we deal with 2 data types, type of numeric and the type of string. So the format applied to variables will be applied to that string variable as well as that numeric variable. But on top of that, we have a specific format for date variables. For date variables, but it is a numeric date, because if it is a string, that will be the same as any other string variable. And where can we see this effect of format? You will see them in results window after displaying result tables, but also they are visible through browse and edit windows where we can see data values. But for visualization, you will see that effect from graph window. All Stata format must start with % symbol. That is very crucial. I have just typed the format command here. You see it is written as format, then you pass your var list, then your format type. Or you can start with the format type, then var list. Both these are acceptable. The issue of decimal point We are going to capture this at the end. And now, after this specifically, let us dive deep about notes. Once more, we are emphasizing that the display which you'll see as an output of note format command will not alter the storage content. So here we are. Let us start with the string variable. String variable, it has a very short and small cases of dealing with notes. For string variable, for dealing with the format, I'm still with the notes, for dealing with the format. For string variable, format will do only two things. Number one, it can be used to change the alignment of the string value, either to be aligned to the right or left, or it can be used to change the width of the column. How do we specify that? The syntax is the format, then var list. We know about the var list, which means several variables, which are all strings, can be formatted together. After this, you must pass the percent symbol. And then you see here the negative sign. I have enclosed this with a square bracket, which means it is optional. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. If you put a negative sign, it means your column will be, your values from the column will be left aligned. But if you remove this, the default is right aligns. And this W, this is the width which we are talking about. How many characters can be accommodated with that string variable? And the S is a mandatory signature for string format. For us to understand that it is a string, this S will always be there, while this W is a placeholder for an integer. How many characters will be captured? Just like this, let us start here. At format. So if I put help format, this is what we are talking about. Now, let me call auto2 data, and then I will write describe. Once you write describe, you'll see this output here. We all remember the storage type. We have learned about this. You know, this is a string. It is different. This column is the one which display format. You will recognize this by checking the percent symbol. So all formats must start with a percent sign. And this is what we have specified here. So the moment you see the percent symbol in Stata, you understand that the content after it is notes. And you see it here, that negative is here. So I know for sure that even without a browse, this variable here is left aligned. On the other case, that W now, in this case here, it is 18. It means this column can accommodate 18 characters. And S, we said this is the signature. It is always there as long as you are dealing with string data. So you will find it here. It is a mandatory signature for string format. So specifically, I'll just write here describe make. So in order not to be bothered with the other kind of formats, this is it. How do we now modify this? Can also put here browse make. Since you're just dealing with this, you see it here. I'll start with changing alignment here. Number one is string variable format. String variable format. What do we do with string variable format? First, change alignment of string values. String values. Right now, let us start with right alignment. Right alignment. Right alignment is what? Right alignment, it is here. Without it, which means without decimals, the vowels will be default or will be aligned to the right. So I write my command here, format. What is my variable? It is make. Remember, it is var list, so you can have just one variable or two or more. Currently, we have only one string variable. And after this, I put my $sign. And then I put this character without a negative. No minus sign. This is the indication for right alignment. So if I just run this, just need to put something here. What happened? It was supposed to move to the right. Let me try to create, try to check. Let me try to check for happens sometimes, especially in this Stata 18. I have changed this variable to string. And if I say here, describe price, I can clearly see it's supposed to be right aligned. I think I'll find out about this, what is happening here. Because for right aligned, you're supposed to see this to your right. Sometimes it happens, I don't know about this Stata 18. But if I go back, try to locate another Stata there, I think I do have it. I should find the solution about this Stata 18. Let me check this, the previous version. This is Stata 15. Let me call, so yes, use auto 2, comma, clear. To increase the font size a little bit here. If I try to change this format, make %18, sorry, valid format. I have to put S here. Still the same thing. I think you need to check about this because you're supposed to move to this side. The alignment should start from this position. Or let me go to width. Then once I get the solution about this, I'll come back to explain it to you. For numeric, it's okay, but I'm not sure what happens here about the string. So change, I'll write the command for left alignment. Left alignment. This one you put a negative sign. You put a negative sign for left alignment, which is what we're expecting to see. Let me remove this. Browse. Which is the default. So I'll come back to the issue of alignment later on. But currently, this is 1A, 1B, change width. 1B is change width, column width. How can we change a column width? Simply, we need to manipulate this. If I put here 30, pay attention to this width now. If I put 30, the width will be extended to your right, which means now, I should cancel this. There is something with my browse. Let me check if I can reduce this. Not yet. I think there is something with my browser about the string. They are not working very well. They are not responding to formats. I'll check on this and then I'll come back to you later. Yes, now it's okay. I forgot to put the S here. So if you put a large number, your width will be extended there to your right. But if you put a small number, let me put 10 here, the content will be truncated. You see, the width now it is made to accommodate only 10 characters. So you see this dot, 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 it means still there are some characters which are yet to be captured. Pay attention to this note here. If the width is too small to fit the formatted string text, Stata will truncate the displayed characters on screen. And this is what you see here. They are not truncated from memory. If you see here from memory, still you can read the whole word. But here the dot, 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 it means some of the characters cannot be visible due to format. That is it. So that is a string variable. For string variable, the only thing you can do is to change your alignment to the right or to the left, as well as to extend or to contract the width of the variable. The second one now is numeric. We have so much here for numeric. The second is numeric variable format. Once more, I will call this data Let's run describe for the whole data. As you can see, other than string, the rest, we call them numeric, and you do see some variations from here. And what are those? This is what you're going to learn now. Numeric variable format controls data displays, just like the definition of format say. So it controls the number without altering the display number without altering the way it is stored in memory. And the numeric formats are richer than string because we have so many to capture with numbers than with string. For string, you have seen you can only modify column width, but also to change the alignment to your right and left. Numeric format syntax can be placed like this. Just like for string, you can change the alignment to your left or right, but you have this thing here, which we call it leading zero. It is optional as well. We can use it when we specify fixed format. This W is the same, mandatory. We have to put a number of characters which can be captured with the format. This .e is always there wherever we don't put wherever we don't put here. I think you have to change this. This is not supposed to be passed as a square bracket, but rather as curly braces. Because if you put a square bracket, it means they are optional, while indeed they are not. You have to pass one among these three. So here dot, what is this dot? If you can go back to numeric format, you'll see all of them, they must have a dot in between. And all of them, they must have a size of width. That's why that one is mandatory. And after dot, here now we have several choices. You must put a number before we specify F, G, or E. As I said, I will remove square bracket and put curly braces. So this one is a mandatory prefix, while hyphen is optional for left align. Zero is for replacing leading zero with E, leading spaces with E, zero instead of blanks. W is total display width, number of characters to be displayed. E, which comes here, it is a number of decimals, particularly for F and the G, for F and the E format. This G is general format. F is fixed format. E is scientific format. We are going to learn about this soon. And the C is responsible for putting thousands comma separator. So let us start with the three fundamental numeric formats. When we are learning string, string has got only one format style, which is S, mandatory signature for string. But for numeric, we have three different styles. We have G, we have F, and we have E. If you are saying that you are using numeric format, one among these must be present. As you can see here, we have seen G or we have seen F. We don't have E here, but for our practice, we are going to put it. So after the syntax dot and the preceding number of decimals, it must be followed with either F, G, or E. C is optional. Now, let us check the general format. Let me use NLSW. We are going to start with the general format, NLSW. So number one here, to A, start a general format. So I'll call this example data SOS 88, and I can even browse this. Browse browse this. You see these three variables. I'm going to use this to demonstrate wage. I think it is expectation, tenure. Now, if you command describe, you'll see their format. They have .g here at the end. So what actually is .g? The general format always display numeric value in its natural storage form, the way it was stored. This is how you'll see it here. Like this one do not have decimal, so you see it plain without a decimal. This one has 2 decimal, it shows 2 decimal. This one has 5 decimals, it shows 5 decimals. Each will take its own form as it is captured from Stata memory. So this is general format. It is always preceded with .0 because you cannot put .1, 2, 5, they will never work because the purpose is to display the data value the way they were captured within the data memory. So you can change this format. You can use this format by altering some other stuffs, like here. How can I specify general format? Simply, you put your var list. Like in this case, we have 3 variables, and then you put your percentage symbol. You remember it from the syntax. From the syntax, percent is mandatory, so it has to be there. And then hyphen and 0 are optional, so we ignored them, but width is mandatory. So our width is 10, it is here. Dot is mandatory, this one, so it is there. Another thing which is mandatory is G. That's why I said I'll go to change this. It is not fit to be within a square bracket. It's supposed to be within curly braces. So we have specified general. You cannot use G, F, and E at the same time. So it is one among this. So here, once I put that command, if I write describe, this time I will no longer see 9, but I will see 10 because I have changed that one to 10. So you see it here for all 3 variables. So this is how you apply general format. Now the second is the fixed format. General format, this is G, 2B, starter fixed format, F. Now for fixed format, if you want to change this to fixed format, number 1, let us read about fixed format. What actually is it? Fixed format display numeric value with a fixed number of decimals. Number 1, it plays the role of decimals. So always you should attach F instead of G. And before F, we should attach a number of decimals which will come after dot. Before dot is width, and after dot is number of decimals. So if I want all of these to have 1 decimals, for example, 1 decimal display. Remember, we are not changing the storage, we just change the display. 1 decimal display. Now you will see this. Everything is displayed in 1 decimal. Those with 5 decimals, 2 decimals, and even the one without decimal, it will add .0. All of them, they should take a standard format, which is 1 decimal. And if I don't need decimal at all, if I put 0 here, it will round 0 decimal. You see it here. They are displayed like a whole number, but in reality, they are not a whole number. Surely we have we have decimals within it. If you want to check on this, just summarize, for example. If I do here summarize wage, you'll wonder that there from data, I see only whole number. But what comes as a result, you have decimals here. This is what we say, this will only change what you see and not what is captured in memory. So in memory, it is not 8. It is something else with decimals. I can specify 3 decimals, and the last example, 3 decimals display. Then I'll write a describe. So if I do this, now you will see that everything now is captured with 3 decimal places. So there is a standard alignment. If a value has 2 decimals, it will add another 0 to make 3. If it has more than 3 decimals, it will be reduced to make it 3. If it is just a purely integer, it will add 3 zeros to make it standard. So now, if I say describe, you will see these 3 variables, 10.f, .f, 3.3f. So this is how you can change, or you can use the format style, fixed format style. The third basic thing to understand is a Stata exponential format, E. This is scientific notation. Sometimes you have mixed forms of, oh, I forgot to change this here. It's supposed to be E. I will change it before I share this tool. It's supposed to be E. The exponential format E always display numeric in scientific notation. And what is this scientific notation? You see it from here. Let me bring this thing back to what? Here. Instead of F, now I put E. What will you see from this? Now check it here. We have used the scientific notation to display the output. So E power 1 is equivalent to 1.4 times 10 power 1. If it is in tenth, it will be power 0. If it is in thousandths, it will be power 3. If it is negative, if it is 0 point, it will be power negative 1. So this is not new. We know about this. And what is the use of this one here? It is how many decimals before we rise to that scientific notation. This case, you see here it is 1 decimal. But what if I need to put 3 decimals, or to see 3 decimals before we rise scientific notation? This one, I should put 3 here. So 3 decimals, you see 7 point so and so and so before we rise, before E character, we have 3 decimals. So when you are using exponential or fixed format, you can make use with the decimal point, which is what we displayed here in our syntax. This one, D, for decimals. How many decimals you should put here before the fixed and the exponential format. So these are the 3 basic things you should learn because they dictate the nature of your format. In a string, we have only S, but for numeric, we have G, F, and E. And after here now, let us learn about the other components as well. Like now, let us learn about the justified format for numeric variable. How can we now justify this? Justify format for numeric variable. This will be 2C. Justify the format for numeric variable. Let me remove all other effects by recalling this data. Let me use the auto tool. I'll come back to the other stuffs later. Auto tool. I will use price, or just use the MPG to display this content. I will use the price and the MPG. So here, number one, I should say describe price as well as MPG to see the existing format. You see it here. MPG has just general format, but the price is general format, but with this C. We are going to see about this later on. What is the use of this C? Currently, I just need to change. This one is right aligned. So here, let us put make numeric variable be left aligned. How can I do that? The command is format. You pass your variable, and then I copy this because the format is already here. I copy this, and then I'll put a negative. Before I put a negative, you see the values are aligned to the right. They are the same to your right hand side. But at the moment I put this negative here, it means now the values will be aligned to your left. Furthermore, no changes. You wonder why? Because everything's here. For left aligned, you put a negative. Not sure what is happening about the issue of alignment. I'll find out later and try to correct that one, because they are supposed to change. They're supposed to change, but now I don't see any response. So for the issue of alignment, I'll just write code, and later on I'll come out with the explanation, maybe the next session, what is happening. So for left aligned, you use negative. So here put negative sign. For right alignment, ignore negative. Ignore negative sign. So I'll just put a code here. So for right aligned, as you can see, most, if not all software, numeric variables default is right aligned, while character or string variables are left aligned. So number one is the issue of alignment. You can justify to your right or to your left. Doesn't matter about the format, but you can put it in that form. So for left aligned, here I have just put different format for you to see that the matter is the negative, which is placed after percent sign or ignored immediately after percent sign. The other thing is width. Width format still the same as the case which you have covered from string. This is B2D. Width, simply you need to adjust this character here. You see it here. If I put, for example, 15, then the column will be very wide. So you see here the column is extended to your right. But if I put a very small width, what will happen? You see it here. Since the column will become narrow, then it will be forced to use scientific format to display output, because you have narrowed down the width. And this is what has been explained here. We say if width is too small to fit the formatted number, Stata prioritizes preventing the misinterpretation. So for you not to misinterpret, you dynamically attempt to right align the values, drop optional commas. You remember, before we put that option, before we change the width, the commas were there. Or even switch to scientific notation. So for too narrow, since I have put this too narrow, it has switched to scientific notation. But what if I put this 6? This is the original. I should take you back to the original first. You see, for original, even the commas are there. If I try to narrow this down to 6, because number one, what does width do? I forget to explain about this. This width, I will count the number of characters to be accommodated. And what are those characters? Those characters including digits, like here. What we have, this 3799, those are digits. What else? Decimal point. If we have got decimal, like this one, it is part of width. Another thing, minus a sign. If it happens that you have negative value, that negative symbol is also a character to be accommodated. Comma, if there is a comma like this one, this is also an independent character. So like in this case here, we say we have 5 characters because we have 4 digits and 1 comma. And also leading or trailing spaces. If there is a trailing spaces, also will be counted as character. So here, if you try to format it to fix this to lower width, if the width is too narrow, it's too small, number one, it will drop optional commas because those commas are optional. Like in this case, you see commas were dropped. And if it is too much, it will even attempt to go to scientific notation. So when you see this, solution number one, you can come here and say, if I describe, I see the comma format, but they are not there. Describe, when you come to describe, price, we're going to learn about this C soon. It is for comma. You see that the comma is supposed to be there, but why can't I see commas here? Is because of width. So the solution number one is to extend your width to accommodate other characters like comma and to ignore that scientific notation. So this is width. This is width. And after this, let us talk about leading zero now. What is leading zero for format? This leading zero, this will be 2 CDF. Leading zero. Once more, I will go back to original data, auto, here. This time around, let me go to NLSW88. There I will get a clear picture. NLSW88. Here, these three variables. Oh, no. Leading 0. Yeah, I will use this trunk. Yes, this one is perfect. I will use this trunk variable to display leading 0. Actually, what is the leading 0? A leading 0 is 0 appearing before the significant digit of a number. The other one is for decimals. So in Stata formats, is used to maintain uniform visual length for fixed format. This works only for fixed, not for general, not for exponential. We use this for fixed. So 1 can be displayed as 001, or 10 can be displayed as 0 and 10 to maintain 3 digits. This is commonly used or applied to ID numbers or postcodes or month day, because for day we have 2 digits from day 10 to 30 or 31, but from day 1 to 9 you have 1 digit. So sometimes you may need to maintain those visual by adding a leading 0. How do you do that? This is what we have seen from the syntax. We put 0 before width. We put 0 before width. But there is a notation here. The 0 from syntax tells Stata to use zeros instead of ordinary blank padding. Like here, we have got 2 digits here, but you have 1 digit here. So what comes before this? They are right aligned. There is a blank. There is a blank. But if I command this to add a leading 0, it will put 08 to this, 08 to this. But there is an important notation here. Stata fills the unused leading position with zeros for characters which could not occupy full width. So number 1, what is your width? Like here, if I come here and specify and maybe say format trunk, just a format trunk. Sorry, describe before format. Describe trunk. So I see this is the natural format. This is the natural format. Format trunk. This one. This is what you have got from there. If you try to add a leading 0 while you are in general format, if I put a leading 0 here, if I put a leading 0 here, you see no difference, because what is the purpose of general format? To display the numeric value in its original form or the way it was captured within memory. So here I'll say not work with general format. With general format. So you want to see the results, change your format to fixed. Used for fixed format. So you see this. Now, here it is the case. Let me read this statement. Stata fills the unused leading position with zeros for characters which could not occupy full width. Here, we have specified width to be 8. So, if it happens that you have 2 values, Stata will add 6 leading zeros. If you have only just one value, let me see that case. Like here, Stata will add 7 leading zeros. So this actually is not what you wanted. What you just wanted is if the maximum digit is 2, like for trunk, if you summarize trunk, the maximum one is 23. So would like to have 2 digits be specified so that all those values with 1 digit will be captured with leading 0. So I'll put 2 here for maximum of 2 significant digits. Significant digits. So this is what we wanted. Now you can see the approach. So 9, which has just one value, it has been added with leading 0. Just remember that from memory, still it is 9. But now the visual, it is somehow impressive. It's somehow impressive compared to the previous case. So this is what we call leading 0. We're going to use this a lot when you are going to deal with the IDs. That is the leading 0 case used alongside with the fixed format. The last thing about the numeric format is thousand comma separator. Thousand comma separator. What is this thousand comma separator? That was 2F, FG, thousand comma separator. Here I would like to describe price and weight. Or let me describe everything for you to see what is so special. For price and weight, they even add C here. The rest, they don't have C. So what is this C? Let's just read the content first. The comma separator makes a large number easier to read by inserting comma between groups of 3 digits. So we call it a thousands because after 3 digits, which represent thousands, it will insert a digit. In Stata, comma separator is specified with a C attached after G or F because we don't need it for exponential. It is already in scientific format. You don't need a comma there. So you always see this style, either G, C, or FC. So C is not a standalone. It will always come after G or after C, as the way you see it here. G, C. So which means, if you describe here price and weight, if I want to remove comma separator format, in this case, comma separator format, if I want it to be removed, and what is this comma separator? You see them here. There is a comma here. There is a comma here. So this comma separator, if I want it to be removed, I'll just say format, and I will list the variables, and then I'll put the format. The good thing, I think they do share properties. So 0, let's see. So here, if I put this, if I remove this C, it means I will write or I will see these data values without those commas. You see them here now. Price and weight, they don't have commas. They don't have commas. So if I want those comma back, what I will do, it is just the same format. Assign comma separator. You simply need to add C here. So when you add that C, it means the commas will be back. And this is what I have said. With just describe, you can see the format applied to each specific variable. So you can use describe price, for example, or you can use codebook price, I think. So all these describe price is the one which will show you format. As for codebook will show you storage type, but not format. So just rely on describe to see the format. So this is all about a numeric format. As I said, I think I have explained now everything which was captured here. Negative is optional for left alignment. 0 is the option used with a fixed for leading value. Width is always there. Dot is always there. Width is digit. It is integer value. This D is decimal specified before, number of decimals specified before E or F. But for G, we'll just put 0. F, G, E, these are mandatory, but they cannot be used together. Either should put F or G or E. And C is also optional if you want to assign 1000 comma separator. If you do have a question, before I proceed to another concept of formatting a numeric date, please, you can raise a question about the formats which I've been talking about so far. Are we good? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So now I should move to the third component of format, which is numeric date time format. You can control the way the numeric data value is displayed. I'll start with date format, and later on I will come to time format, because the moment you have time, it means you also have date format. So for this one, I think I did capture some of, I was yet to execute. Let me execute this so that it will be available. We do have some data here with the date format, but before that, let us do a little bit of introduction. Our data normally will have a date data. Since date data is there, there is a specific way of dealing with the numeric date. We fetch the lesson of date and time manipulation will come later to the intermediate. But I brought this here for the purpose of understanding this. So basically we say startup time is zeroed to 1st January 1960. What does it mean? Is zeroed. Whatever you do from here, if what you are dealing with is date, then the number of days are counted since 1st January 1960. If what you are dealing with is weeks, then the number of weeks are counted since the first week of 1960. If what you are dealing with is month, it counts the number of months since that day. So without format, you will see those actual numbers. Like, let me show you here. SOS use this case here. So yes, use, for example, XT line 1. So yes, use XT line 1, clear. When you see this data has already got a format. So let me remove that format. If I say here format, if I just put format, then a day, let me put a normal numeric format, for example. I'll put 10 here, put 0G. So see this, what are these? These 15,341, these are number of days since 1st January 1960 till this day. So if you don't put a numeric format, you just see them as numeric values, which will become difficult to understand. Now, for us to understand them, to read them just like any other format, we need to apply those formats. Stata has got 9 formats, but the ones we're going to use for this lesson are only 7. And actually the last one, you don't need it because year is direct. You can see how many years from 1961. So these 6, and actually I can say these 5. Clock, day, week, month, quarter. These are so common, are more common. So if you have date time, it goes beyond day. You'll even have hour, minutes, seconds, or even milliseconds information. Date, you just go up to day. Week, you just have a week of that particular year. Month, you just have a month without day. Quarter as well. Half year as well. But for year, just need a year reference. So these, as you can see, they have started with a percent symbol. So they represent format. Like in this case, number 1, you should realize where you are. Here, this is daily data. So for daily data, I should use day format. So here, daily data format, daily data format. Now to move from this number format to date format, simply I should say day, and then I pass this, I say TD. they should always start with the T. This is what we said here. And then it will change depending on the reference. So the moment I put this, see here, it is still a number, but now you can read that this is the 1st January 2002. This is 14 January 2002, and like that. So format enable you to understand that time reference. Another one is, I think it is quarterly. I do have another data here for quarterly. I think it is GNP 96. Quarterly data. Quarterly data. Quarterly data. So yes, use. So yes, use GNP 96. GNP 96. And the variable which contain quarterly information, you see this 1967 quarter 1. So if I change this first to numeric, let me put it into numeric, to purely number for us to see how many quarters since quarter 1, 1960. So since quarter 1, 1960, we have passed through 28 quarters, while this one 29 quarters, while this one 40 quarters. So we want to make this be readable for us to understand. Then you use quarterly format. What is the quarterly format? Simply it is TQ, time quarter, what you have seen here, time quarter. If it is monthly data, you use TM. So here we take it back to quarterly information or quarterly data. So number one, these are date formats. But now let us see how we can customize them. But before customization, yes, let me customize them, and then I'll come to the. Now let me import one data first, also to see for the time as well. Time data. For time data, number one, I don't have a native data which is in time format. So I have to import one. I should import one. Capacity building. Chapter 5, beginners, practice data. You can come here and say copy path. And then just paste it here. Then I'll write dir. Then I will import Excel. The data is in Excel. If I go to my browse, I think it is written time. So date and time exercise. Date and time exercise. Comma, clear. It is captured. You put it here first. convert one here to numeric first. Let me convert this arrived date to numeric. The lesson of date and time manipulation will come later. So please do not ask me about how I convert this. This is the upcoming lesson. The thing I need is how can I have a numeric date format in place. This one, and then it has started with year, month, day, then hour, minute. Year, month, day, year, month, day, hour, minute. So I have this data here. As you can see, it is produced with a scientific format. So I can always increase the size. Say here, format, maybe to 12%, 12 dot number of days since 1960. Still not enough. Let me put 16. Here now. Oh, it's okay. So these are number of days since from 2009, 2nd April, since 1st January 1960. Now, when there are pure numbers like this, you will not understand. Actually, they are not number of minutes. These are they are not number of days, they are number of minutes, because the data went all the way up to minutes. How many minutes since January 1st? 1960 at 1st January. I think it starts at 00 a.m. So here, to change this into that particular format, we say format this into what? Into TC, because this is time uses clock. So you see here, it now went back to the same format, but this is string. Now this is numeric. 2nd April 2029. So now you can read it and understand it. You have even hour, minute, second. Now from here, there is this lesson how we can customize these formats. Multiple ways of customizing formats. Here I have written a unit, the original format, and the customized style. You must always start with the original format, then the way you can customize them. I will start with date, because after date, I'll go to time. The rest will be easy. Let us start with date first. Customize date format. How do we customize date format? So customize, this is 3. Customize date format. I should go back to date data here. Customize date format. This one. There are a number of steps here. You should also capture this. If you just capture pure numbers, number one is default format. When you just put TD, it will move you from those reference numbers from 1960, January 1960, January 1, 1960, to this default format here. This is the default format. But you can always customize them to the style which you want. But to understand this customization, let us go to date. Here we have three components. We have day, we have month, we have year. Day, month, year. And what are those? For day, we have two styles, DD capital, DD small. What is the difference? DD capital will add a leading zero to those dates which are less than 10, from day 1 to day 9. While DD small will not add a leading zero. If it is 1 digit, it will be displayed as 1 digit. The way you see here, it is DD capital. Display that soon. And about month, because there we have day, month, year, we have month. This month will put month, will shorten the month into 3 characters, like January, Jan. But if you use month, we'll write January in full month. If you use this one, month, it will write the month name in lower cases, just like the way it appears right now. If you use this, it will write in lower cases, but in full name. If you use NN, it will put a month in digits, but with a leading zero. And the small nn will put a month in digits, but without a leading zero. And for year, if you use CC, it will even add a century, because what we call century date, these first 2 digits represent century, either 20019, 19 something, 2000 and something, and then year. And you can use lower cases to ignore double digits. We'll see about that. So I'll start with the first one. Here, if I say customize days, if I just put DD small, TD is the numeric format, but this DD small, it will just give you days. And this is not what we wanted you to see. So number one, I should write everything in full. DD, month, year, CC, YY. So what do you see here? This YY, since I have used a small case, it ignores the leading zero. So 2002, that 02 is not there, and this can distort the meaning. So always it is recommended when you are writing year, put it in this form, CCYY, to be safe. And this is the defaults which we were seen back then. But now you see there is no leading zero here. There is no leading zero. So to add a leading 0, use this format, capital D, DD for leading 0 style. So this is what we have received as default there. Now, if I change this, month to capital M, it will write month, but it will not start with lowercase. It will start with uppercase. Month, 3 character short month style, short month name style. So you see this, now they start with the caps. To make it more beautiful, you can use any separator here that use this insert separator. So here after day, before go to month, you need to see this. Before go to year, you can put this. Now you see it is even more pleasing. And I can say I need to start with the century, then month, then day. Can even reverse that. It is allowed. That is the meaning of to customize format. So you can see now, I think I'm ready to execute. Valid format, something is wrong. Oh, I added another Y. This one. So you can put it style like this. So format allows you to play with things like that. What if I need full name? I'll go back to this. If I need full name, here in month, I'll write in full, month. So display full name, display month, full name, display month, full name. You see it now. If it is January, it is written in full, January, February, March, in full. And another thing we have seen month, like this. If I use lowercase, it will be printed, but in lowercase. If I put this, still it will be month, but it will not start with the uppercase. And the other ones is N. What if I don't need the month as a name, but I need them to display as number? If I put this NN, display month as display month by numeric, by number, without leading 0. So if it is January, you will just see 1 and not 01. See here, 4th 1, 2002. But if I put this capital M, you will see with the leading 0. This is without. The other one with the leading 0. So even if it is January, you'll see 01, which perfectly align like that. The last one is, since this is the formatting, You can put the style as you wish. I can say maybe I don't need hyphen, I need this forward slash, for example. Format allows you to do so. See here now. Or I need this style as well. I say I'll put here January, month, and then I put a space, DD, and then I put a comma here. So it will be displayed like this. Sorry, something's wrong. See it. Let me check. I think that one do not work for displays only the month. Doesn't allow to start with a month. Month, day, century. Works with this one, but how about this? Yes, this one, January 11, 2002. Although I'd like you to use a short form. So here, this also are the style which you can use to display date format as you wish. It's 4 minutes past 12 Tanzanian time. So here, I would like it to finalize because the things are connected. I don't want to push this to the next lesson. Customize date format. Here, I'd like it to customize the time format and will end today's lesson. After that, customize date time format. Here now I should import this data once more, which I have used. So number one, you'll see your date like this. Should focus here, browse, arrive. You will see them like this. So default format, it is this one. It will show you a day, month, year, and then date. So for the rest, it's just exactly the same as what we have covered. So now I'll just focus on time. So just need to add hour, minute, and second. And here, we have different scenarios. For the case of hour, for the case of minutes and second is straight. If we use SS, it will ignore leading 0. But if you use a capital SS, it will use leading 0. If you use a small it will ignore leading 0. But if you use capital it will use leading 0. But as HH, we have several scenarios. If you use capital HH, it will use leading 0 in 24 hours style. And if you start with a small h, capital H, it will ignore leading 0 with 24 hours style. And if you use HH small, it will be 12 hours style, but it will ignore any leading 0. But if you start with capital HH, it will use 12 hours style with leading 0. So let us practice in this. I will just put different scenarios here. Number 1, you should always customize time format. As usual, should always start with default, then followed with what? I should keep using this style here. I'll put day, month, year. Day, month, year, like this. So if I just do this, you'll find that the time component is not there. It is there captured, but during the format it is ignored. How should I add that? Should I add them like this? Now see this, HH, then full colon, MM, then SS. If I put this, still it will not work. Still display as date because there is a space here between formats, and formats do not allow that. Even here, why it didn't work earlier? Because if you put a space, format will struggle. So if, for example, here I didn't want hyphen, let me take you back there. Let me use it here, then you'll understand. You should use underscore. So I should put note here, no space. For space, use underscore. So if you want to see space, even back when we were doing this, just remembered this, then I should add it here. If I just wanted the space here, what you could do is to put underscore. If you put underscore in a displaying, you will see space January 01, 01. So this space is obtained by putting underscore. If you don't put underscore, the format will not work. So the same here. I should put underscore. Now you see a space between time component and the day component, but that is made possible due to underscore. So this is 24 hours. That's why you see this 24. And if I don't want a leading 0, if I don't want leading 0, still 24, but I don't want a leading 0, then I should remove this H and put small h there. So something like 8, you will never see 08. But if I want this to be 24, 24 hours. This one also 24 hours, more reading 0. While this one is 12 hours. I'll switch this h, small h. 12 hours. So since this is 12 hours, so you'll never see that 20 so and so. I think there is a way you can add, I'm not sure if you can add something like AM, PM. I never worked on that one, but you can customize as you wish. So this is it. And this is what I wanted to present today. The last thing, just one command. Number 4, set decimal point. Let me recall this data here. Let me recall this data. So yes, auto 2, clear. And I should pay my attention to these specific variables. Auto 2, SYS use. Just see these 4 variables: price, weight, gear ratio, and I think headroom. You see this? I pick this specific because here we have 1000 comma separator, here we have 3 point something. Now we do have systems where use comma for decimal. There are some countries, if you want to write 2.5, you write 2.5. So here we have this command, set decimal point, comma. Set decimal point, comma. You can see it right away here. For decimal now, we have 3.58. This is read as 3 decimal, this one. Now they have switched the rows. Here now, what you see as decimal actually is 1000 comma separator and not 4.099. Some of the countries tend to use this system. So when you receive this data, you may get confused. And you can also say use period. Here use comma for decimal. Here use period for decimal. So you set here, set DP, set decimal point, period. You go back to where we are. So that's all about the format. That's all about format. The other issue about format is once now have learned this, format can be used as an argument to other function as well. Later on, we'll see summarize command like this, help summarize. But among the options of summarize is the format. You may be required to specify format here as your output. And you'll see that to several commands. Since we are going to learn this command later on, each time we reach to a specific command, we will see how we can use format within that particular command. Unless there is a question, but that's all for today. Una kaswali? So if not, no question, it means we'll end here for today. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for your time too.
And next week, let me cancel the record first. Stop sharing.